We might have had a box of books in the back or in the basement stashed away somewhere.
Right. Yeah, just for that emergency.
All right. Well, anyways, it is that time again. Oh wait, I'm actually a few seconds early this week. And now,
Right.
now it's time.
And now we're late.
And,
Oh,
and, and now we're like, oh, and we have spent the past half hour doing show prep and just laying out the whole next 2 hours. We weren't just catching up on personal stuff and talking about people in the hospital. No, we were doing real professional. We're professionals here, right?
we're professionals. That's
We're,
right.
we're professionals in technology and being retired. We're not professionals in radio, clearly not. But I did go see professionals yesterday.
You
And
did.
yes, I did. I got
At radio?
yes, radio professional. Here's we'll talk more about this, but first we need to open up the show. Now I realized I've made a fatal flaw here that a professional would not make. I've queued up the music and I don't have the sound effects ready. This is already a bad start. But that's okay because I still haven't decided what I'm calling the show this week. So let's find out what happens in the next sentence. And hello everyone, you are tuned into Time Out with Gators and Brian. And maybe Venison will join us too. And yeah, we're I don't know if I'm serious about this or not, but I'm thinking of changing the show to Time Out with Gators, Brian, and Venison. And I have not run this by Brian yet. I'm putting him on the spot right now. What do you think of this idea?
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you got to just change the name of the show, right?
Well, that's the way. And every time I do it, I regret it. And so why should I stop now? It's what I do.
Exactly. Hey, no problem, man.
But no,
Time out.
But this past weekend, I made an observation, and in response to my observation, I've been put in time out by Dune. Dune basically let me know that I was in timeout with Venison, who I think is in permanent timeout, and I don't think you're exactly on Dune's list of favorite people to listen to on Twitter either. So I think all three of us are on Dune's timeout list. So I've decided, fuck it, we're time out. That's the name of the show now. I'm certainly not going to change my attitude on Twitter, so I may as well just own it.
Did we say something bad?
I may have made an observation that I consider Trump something of a racist.
Oh, that could be bad.
That could be that. Well, yeah, being a racist is generally considered bad. Not all people think that, but most do. I'm just asking for it. I think the show has just gone into timeout. I think Dune has just clicked the timeout button.
Yeah, I was actually following this guy and responded. I can't remember what I responded to, but I probably retweeted him. But the guy said, no, Trump is not a racist, but pretty much everybody that follows him is.
Well, I wouldn't say everyone that follows him, because certainly I have family members that voted for him. They're not all in with him. I think they were holding their nose when they voted for him. And I certainly don't. Let's be clear here. I don't think Dune's a racist. I clearly don't. And I don't think I need it to say that. But just in case, I just
You're covered. You're covered.
I
got it.
I just want to make sure that there's no question about that.
And I never thought he was a racist.
No, and I don't even want to discuss it, because that gives merit to the idea. I don't even want to give merit to. You know how sometimes strategically you don't acknowledge something because acknowledging it almost gives the idea some ground.
Right.
You don't want to talk about someone not being a racist because that implies that they might be, and it's like, let's move right along.
It's like mentioning a person's sexuality, right?
Right.
I mean, Dune is not a. Oh no, we're not doing that.
Let's look at. I said it. Moving on.
We're moving on.
That's not a topic. That is just
it's not a topic.
Not even a topic.
No, because there's a time out there.
but we are in time. Yeah, so I figured we may as well. Now, does that mean that we're going to be a political show every week and always talk about political stuff that's going to make Dune put us in time out? No, it's just a joke that came to my head, and I recklessly and impulsively said, "Hey, we should call our day." Kind of like what I thought.
Like, actually, the whole idea of the politics and the bickering and all that is on hold because we have just had our second major hurricane.
Oh, but it's never
come down on us.
It's never on hold because there's still the discussion. Sure. There's still the discussion of, is it time to get serious about discussing climate change? And then there's the people that's like, oh, you got to get political about this. And then you got the people that are like, the reporting on this hurricane is like liberal propaganda. I don't know what exactly Rush said, but I know I didn't agree with it when I read the direct quote.
Actually, it made no sense. He should get a timeout.
Yeah.
But then again, we would have him on our show.
Well, Rush is on permanent timeout on my list because I never tune into the guy. I don't think gold plating is acoustically good for microphones. I think that's what bothers me about his show. Because there's something that gets under my nerves and makes my blood boil when I listen to his show. I'm going with something's totally wrong with the microphone.
Oh, it's gold plated.
I thought that was one of his things, is that he went and got his PL.
Well, good thing I didn't get a gold-plated microphone myself.
No, if you want to do it, by all means. I'm joking.
Oh, okay.
That's not really why I don't listen to his show.
As everybody knows, I suck at this, so anything would help or hurt. It doesn't really matter, right?
Right. Well, I mean, you're getting better. We're both, like I said, we're not professionals, but I went and saw professionals yesterday. It kind of floors me that Venison never heard of these guys, because I thought everyone's heard of these guys at this point. Well, anyone that's like following podcasting or things like that, because let's face it, what I'm doing is a dying breed. When I started this, there were people that were getting up to 3-digit listeners doing this, which is nothing. The downloads that the popular podcasts are getting would laugh at that. But it was pretty groundbreaking at the time, and now we're lucky if we get double digits. Heck, I'm lucky if I get 3.
We get double digits if we figure out a way to kind of duplicate the listener count.
Right. Like right now we got 7 on the stream and we got 2 on the YouTube. So that's 9. So if I didn't piss off Dune, we would have been at 10.
There you go.
There we go. So, but this is timeout with Gators and Brian. So we're in timeout. We're stuck with 9 listeners. Nope, 8. Now I'm sounding like Damon. No, but the point is that
I saw some of Damon's recent tweets. That's pretty funny.
Which ones?
Oh, I can't pull one out right now, but they were funny though.
During the telethon when he was
part of it, even after one was just the other day. Because the telethon is what, a week old?
Well, they're doing a marathon, completely different from what we were doing, and has nothing to do. I mean, we announced doing a telethon, and they announced that they're going to do a marathon of all their shows. I see no connection between these two things. In no way.
He needs a timeout.
Oh my God! I don't think Dune's been listening because he wants the link.
Oh, hey, good. We haven't been talking about politics at all.
No. Why would we talk about that? Why would we? Now, I'm not going in depth in that. Although I do want to address. I want to talk about talking about politics, and maybe we can do that without talking about politics. Because why is it that we can't talk about politics? What is going wrong? Because that's a big problem. A big problem is that we either don't talk about it, or when we do talk about it, we're still not really talking about it. We're just shouting about it without listening, which is not talking about it. And
when I was, and this actually pissed me off at the time, but it continues, and I'm used to it. I was in college when this happened, so I moved into this dorm with the guy I knew to be my roommate, and on the dorm floor was a guy that I knew in high school. He's a decent guy, whatever, but he kind of spelled out the rules. We wouldn't talk about religion and we wouldn't talk about politics. And it pissed me off because where are you going to learn how to talk about things intelligently, but in the college dorm room when you're just, knocking back a beer or whatever?
Right.
To me, okay, that leaves sex, drugs, and rock and roll, right? Well, of course, we had the neighbor. You open up the door and that cloud comes out. But,
Well, that helps you talk about politics a little more relaxed.
Yeah, right. Of course, you have to bring in your Cheetos.
Well, yeah, there is that. But,
right.
Well, like, here's the thing, because there are people I can talk about politics with. And, like, in the past few years, me and my dad have talked politics. And we don't agree on things. But the thing is that we have very different viewpoints for different reasons, and I think, and we're able to hold civil, calm conversations with each other, and be perfectly fine with that. I mean, and he's kind of coming at this as the owner of a small business that's just sick and tired of all the regulation that he has to deal with, and it's like, yeah, but. I think the GOP has about as many plans to fix that as the Democrats do. That's kind of.
Let's face it, they both love taxes and they both love regulation.
Right. And
it's just that they have a different set.
I mean, the types of problems that my dad's talking about fixing is the type of things that could easily be a bipartisan thing, because you talk to the Democrats, they love small business. They love businesses under this many employees. They want to totally make things easier for small business. And the GOP, they love small business. They want to make things easier for small business. Big business too, and small business. But the GOP's like, no, both small and big. Democrats are like, no, just the small. And you figured they could find the common ground there and come up with some bipartisan solution. And there's a step forward. Now, yeah, sure, you still got the big business issues here that the GOP wants to do something with, and you maybe work out a deal and get some leverage. But the point is that's not what's happening. That's not what's happening. I mean, the issues that we talk about, it's like, but that should be a bipartisan issue. That shouldn't be I mean,
it totally should be. Yeah.
Voting for Trump is not going to help my dad's small business get less regulation. And it's just, because there's been nothing more than talk when it comes to those types of things.
Oh, absolutely. And hey, guess what? Democrats and Republicans take a lot of money from big businesses. I mean, even Trump, before he ran, he put a lot of money into the Republican campaigns and the Democrat because he didn't want to be with the loser.
Right.
And when you got
but that's
$8 billion, you can afford to do that.
But the point of this conversation isn't to talk about politics, it's to talk about talking about politics. The point is my dad comes up with these concerns, and it's like, yeah, that's valid concerns. I see where you're going there, but I don't see how this would affect which side you vote for, being that this should be a bipartisan issue and is something that both sides have expressed interest in fixing, although it's not sexy, so it kind of gets put in the back burner. I look at the key differences between the clear differences, and I clearly want the party that's going to take care of us. And it's not the GOP, but we're not what we're here to talk about.
You can even talk about the discussion of climate change, okay? There are some people that say Obama did nothing about climate change. And the way I look at it is that, when the economy is in the shitter, like what happened in 2008, and Obama was elected, the economy is the thing that's sexy, not climate change. Right. Climate change is just the inconvenient truth.
He did some things. He did do some things.
A little bit here and a little bit there. But the main
Cash
focus
for
was trying to
Clunkers,
work on.
I think got a lot of old cars off the road.
Sure.
Things like, but the
again, we're just talking about politics.
The point is that my dad knows I voted for Clinton. I know my dad voted for Trump, and we have conversations about this. And we're careful with our wording of things, but it's calm conversation. and no problems, no heated argument. Then later we had a little game night that night, me and Kristen and my dad and my stepmom, and some kind of topic or comment gets made. And my stepmom gets a little uncomfortable, and she's like, oh, maybe we should avoid the politics. Nothing kills a good evening like politics. And I'm like, no, this is, people should be able to talk about this. My dad goes, we talked earlier. It's cool, And we had to kind of calm it down there. But people have this, reaction. Either people have two reactions. One, they get all pissed off, shout their point, and they just can't handle people disagreeing, or they shut it down. I don't want to hear it. Or nothing kills a good. It's like it's the shut it down or shout my view without listening. This is not helping anything, because the only way we're gonna get anywhere is bipartisanship
and to have honest conversations.
Yeah.
So okay, so why did you vote for Trump? Would be the question. So it's point A, point B, point C.
Right.
Oh, why did you vote for Clinton? Point A, point B, point C. Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
In fact, I kind of look at it like both candidates sucked. Period.
Oh, I'll agree with that.
Both of them were second rate.
Yeah.
And so it was the choice of, in the bigger picture, which person would be better. And that's only a best guess. I mean, when George W. Bush's first term came up, he was the guy running for president. Yeah, he had all these staff members laid out, Colin Powell, Rumsfeld, Cheney, all these guys. They had great resumes. That seemed to be the best choice. So I voted for George W. Bush.
Now, do you stand behind that, or do you regret that?
Well, as they say, shit happens, right?
So that would be a one for the regret column.
I regret it. And then 4 years later, who's running? It's George Bush again, and John Kerry. I really wanted to like John Kerry because I was starting to get sick of Bush.
Yeah.
But I looked at that guy and said, man, this guy is boring. Al Gore would have been better as far as I'm concerned.
Is boring a bad trait for a president to have? I mean, it doesn't work good for elections, and my camera's not focusing, so I'm going to try to mess with it here. But
boring is okay.
But if you think about job performance, W got us into some deep shit with some bad choices. Sure. Kerry's a little boring. I'm not seeing your logic
it was the open question of, can John Kerry pull it together? And that's what I was looking for. And I kind of concluded, you know what? He's not going to be able to pull it together. He doesn't have that much stroke. If he came out and said, okay, we're going to have all these people in places that have better resumes, I could have gone, yeah, okay. But I could not see any facet of leadership.
I think he could have done it. He wasn't the strongest candidate. He certainly...
But that was all that big unknown. I mean, with Obama, it was a big unknown for a lot of people. But Obama was the better choice. So
you voted for W twice.
I voted for W twice because I didn't think the Democrats had a good guy, a strong enough candidate that could pull things together. And then when Obama ran against McCain, I said, okay, now it's switched. I think Obama's got his shit together, although he doesn't have a lot of experience. He had, 6 years in the Senate?
You're right.
4 years, not a really long time. John McCain, okay, he had a lot of years in the Senate, and he had his military background, etc. But he was such a jerk. I knew he was a moderate Republican, as he still is. And then he picked Sarah Palin to kind of balance the ticket with a conservative airhead.
He needed something
If he took a good, strong conservative, I would have said sure.
Yeah, Palin was.
Palin.
That was an odd. That was the thing. Is it was so blatantly obvious. It was I can't put a white dude there. We black guy be too obvious. Right. Any good women we got? Wait, Alaska's governor. She's a chick.
Oh, yeah, and a blonde. See, they could even be good looking.
Well, she wasn't a blonde, but.
Oh, that's right. She wasn't.
But yeah, that was such an obvious.
But I think a lot of people voted for her and just give her the big yay rah rah because they had fantasies.
I mean, the script for the movie wrote it. The movie named itself. Let's not forget. How long did it take before someone released a movie called Nailin' Palin? So.
Oh sure, yeah, right. Yeah, the fantasy exposed.
Yes.
I never saw that movie, so
for the record, neither did I. I really no.
But the name kind of says it, right?
Yeah. Nailin' Palin. Yeah, sometimes the best part of a porn is the name. It's great when you have like porns that are parodies of real movies, like Austin Prowlers, American Booty, Swinging in the Rain. These are all real movie titles, by the way.
Right. Amongst the porn crowd, yeah.
When I was in college, someone left a catalog of porn titles in the back of the toilet in the bathroom, and it was just they were all parodies of real movies. American Booty, Swinging in the Rain. I wish I could remember all of them.
Right.
But at least
each new movie comes out, then there's a porn version of it, parody of it, right?
Oh yeah,
that's the way life works. Right?
Yeah. But
yes, I've got to make that movie.
Yes. There's big money in that. Yeah, so today I had jury duty.
No.
Yes. And it's interesting how each state has got their own little style of jury duty. Because I've served jury duty now, and I use that term loosely. I've served jury duty now in 3 states. In Maine, it was a group of people that showed up one day, and we were all brought into the courtroom, wheeled in an old CRT-style TV with a VCR with VHS tape. They pushed in, hit the play button, and of course, the typical movie, our founding fathers, and this country was founded, and trial by peers.
Oh, yay, rah, rah.
Your American duty. It is an honor and a privilege. Rah, rah, rah. You get to be a juror. Yeah.
Oh, fuck! That's what happened!
So, I don't think they made the porn parody of that movie yet.
Oh, my. You would be taking Night Court on steroids.
There's nothing sexier than a juror.
Yes, that's right.
Guilty.
And look at that prosecutor.
Guilty as charged, Your Honor.
Oh, this is already turning bad.
I could already hear Warhawk sending the quotes to Twitter. But anyways.
The Twitters are lighting up.
So, Maine, we were given juror numbers. We were all there at the same time as one group to seat 3 juries. They had the series of questions that they asked the group, which was based on people standing up. And if they decided they didn't like you sat down. And then if you're still standing, they took your numbers, threw them in a hat, and started drawing numbers, and seated 3 juries in one afternoon. And there were some people that got seated on no juries, and there were some people that got seated on all 3 juries. So I consider myself lucky. I thought that was unfair. I kind of thought, like, when they seated the next jury, the people that were already seated should get to sit down, and if there's enough people left standing to seat that jury, they should try to do that first before having people pull double duty. But that's not the way they do random. I actually don't know if someone got seated on all 3, but I know some people got seated on 2 juries, and I only got seated on 1, and some people got seated on none.
But how does that work? Are these trials going on at the same time, or do they just have one room and
there's one courtroom.
Bring in the jury for
Up in
Oh,
Maine, there was one courtroom at this courthouse,
that's why
so
they could do it, because
they
there was
they
only
could
one.
do it. They could do it. Now they didn't
Yeah.
have to do it though. They could have, there was enough people that they didn't have to pull double duty because some people walked away scot free, and that based on jury, it's like how come they get to go off scot free? But anyways, but that was what it was. I was outworked in Maine. California, the way it worked was every year, like clockwork, you got a notice in the mail telling you had jury duty. The night before, you load the website, and they told you don't need to report in the morning. Check again tomorrow, and before after 11 or something like that. You checked again the next day and said we don't need you for the afternoon session. You have served jury duty, and this happened every year I lived in California. They send out more notices.
Did you ever have to show up?
No, I never had to show up.
Sweet.
In California, more often than not, from my experience, you don't ever have to show up. They just send more notices than they need people to show up. But in Maine, they send notices to people that are showing up. In Massachusetts,
I have gone to the jury room in California a couple of times, but then got booted out before sitting. In fact, I was actually seated in the jury pool. I was one of the 12 guys. They started asking questions, and
then the trial.
The defense attorney did not like my answer, so he kicked me out.
What was what was the question and answer?
I don't recall, but at some point, in fact, this might have been it.
Maybe
at the
words
time,
"fuck the police"
I had
came
a
up.
cousin that worked for the federal DA's office.
Mm-hmm.
As an attorney, not just a clerk or whatever. She was a full-on attorney in the DA's office, and I think and she has the same name as I do. Blues.
I thought she was named Brian.
No, the Blues side. And I think he recognized the name, so he decided, no, we can't have this. So I was dismissed.
Based off of your...
And so I left sadly. Of course, as soon as the door closed, yes!
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing, is that the only experience I had before today of serving jury duty, of actually showing up someplace, was in Maine, where the only place that we went to was the actual courtroom, and all sat in the courtroom for the selection process at the same time. Yeah. And so I had no idea of this, jury pool room that you would sit in and wait until they need people. Because it was just, in Maine, it was smaller, so the whole group just showed up in the courtroom.
Right.
But here in Massachusetts, there was about 75 of us or about 70 of us that all showed up in the jury pool room and filled out our questionnaires that they took and gave us numbers. And, they briefed us on what to expect and tried to be humorous as well. I mean, this guy, if he wasn't a court officer, he would have tried to have gone into stand-up, but I could see why he didn't. He was okay, but his improv could use a little work.
Right.
Then again, he's probably told these same jokes every
Right. Of course. Right.
Anyway,
now this other time, and I'll just make this short. I got into the courtroom, sitting in the big, with the big group rather than the 12 chairs.
Right.
And they went through there, and I just wasn't selected. And I think another time I didn't even get to the courtroom. I was just in the big room.
Right.
They would select these guys off, select more guys off, and I was just kind of left there holding the bag. But in that one, the guy's cool. The judge came down and gave a little speech live, talking about the founding fathers and how it's a wonderful thing, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So that was cool.
we watched. They played the DVD for us of
Yeah,
founding fathers, Constitution of Massachusetts, Constitution of the United States. Because
right.
Massachusetts Constitution is older than the United States Constitution, so of course
Oh,
they're
make
gonna.
a big deal about it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. The founding of this
Of course, you
country,
could
all
be
that.
in Connecticut, and it's older
Hmm.
because it's the Constitution state.
Well, there you go. So, anyways, so we did the DVD. At some point, a judge did decide to stop by and kind of brief us on what to expect that day, which is great fun because as soon as a judge enters the room mid-sentence, the court officer just stops whatever he says and then goes, "All rise!" Yeah, and I'm like, Eddie, that's gotta does that
But
ever get
whatever you
old?
do, don't laugh at Jeff Sessions because that'll put you in jail.
Does it ever get old being a judge and every time you enter a room, everyone stops and stands up? Does that ever get old, or is that just always going to be kind of
Probably
cool?
not.
I don't know. This camera is pissing me off right now though because it keeps going out of focus. But yeah, so any kind of and it sounded like it could possibly be a busy day. And the policy here in Massachusetts is one day or one trial, which means if we don't get seated by the end of the day, we're
You're
we're free,
dismissed.
we're dismissed, right? Or if we get on a trial, generally they don't go more than 3 days. Um, and they were like, "Oh, it's going to be a busy day today," because they have both Superior Court and District Court in this building. And so, we got a case that we're working on Superior Court. So about 50 of you are going to have to go up there for the jury selection process there. And we've got a lot of things going on in District Court today. It might actually be a busy day, but still the morning, and so we'll see how that goes. So all I know is that about 50 of us, there's 70 of us in the room, about 50 of us are supposed to be going up to Superior Court, which is the more serious thing where you got serious crime type of thing. So there's going to be a serious trial going on there. And this is the type of thing that they do a lot of preparing for. So it's probably going to happen. And so I'm like, wow, I'm more likely going up there than not going up there by the sounds of this. And then after that, there might be some more jurors to be selected in district court, but hang tight. We're, working on that. And he throws on the DVD of Seinfeld. And of course, I have my brand new fancy 3DS with me, loaded with Nintendo emulator. So I bring up original Legend of Zelda. I got to level 8. I didn't actually beat level 8, but in the course of today, I did get into level 8, and I just got the Master Key when we were all dismissed for the day. So I'll have to get jury duty again so I can finish beating level 8. But so then we find out the Superior Court case got resolved some way that they don't need a jury now. So that went away. So then we're told that there's a case for district court that half of us, 35 of us, are going to need to go up for that jury selection. And it was the lower half. I had a high number, so I didn't get called up for that. So I'm stuck watching Seinfeld playing Game Boy. But we're told that there's another district court case that the rest of us will need to go up for that they're working on, but hang tight. And then we find out, well, no, they decided to go with a non-jury for that. The judge is just going to decide that one. So you're not needed for that. But we just need to hang tight and wait for them to finish the jury selection process, the first half of the group, because, if they seat that jury, then we're done here. But if they need us to send more people up, some of you are going to have to go up. And sure enough, a few minutes later, he comes back. He's like, I got bad news and good news. Bad news is you didn't get an opportunity to learn more about our judicial system here and experience the whole jury. But the good news is you could go home now. We're like, oh, no.
Actually, it's fairly common where they get right to the point where they seat everybody and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe the defendant gets nervous and cops the deal.
That's the thing that they kind of emphasize there. Here's the thing. Both times that I've served jury duty, it's kind of said it's pretty common for most things to be resolved without going to trial. Most things work out, and it can work out up until the last minute. Like there's a time that the jury is seated, everyone's sitting there, and bam, no, wait, we don't need this. So yeah, it's
Right.
there were 3 possible juries they needed to seat today. They only ended up seating one of them. And the one for Superior Court, they were like, yeah, there's planning and prep that goes into these cases. This one's probably going to happen. Nope, didn't.
Right. Actually, the funnest jury I was on was in Texas.
Ooh.
So I showed up for jury duty.
Did you send them to the chair?
Oh, no, this is actually funnier than that.
Oh, funnier than the chair. Because the chair is hilarious. Smoke
exactly.
coming up, and my God.
Right.
Have you seen them fly in that chair?
Sparks,
look at those sparks flying.
Okay,
Sparky.
So this is how it came down. They went through and picked out 12 guys. I was one of them. We went straight up to the courtroom. We explained the process, and the first thing they says is, "You people are very lucky." Yeah, I'm feeling lucky, man. Oh, because this trial is going to take about half a day. Huh? Okay, so here's the story. The state of Texas decided, this is the legislature, decided that the judge cannot postpone a trial on mental issues.
Okay.
Mental issues have to be decided by a jury. Okay. So a jury has to decide this. Okay. Like I am qualified to decide whether a guy's mental, right?
Right.
So we're going to jump right into it. We get into the room.
Well, by definition, I think everyone's mental, so I'd be perfect for this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. I think we were all mental.
Yeah.
So there's the prosecutor, there's the defendant's attorney, and there's the defendant, and there's the judge. Pretty simple. And then the 12 of us. And they have some, directions from the judge, blah, blah, blah. And okay, let's hear from the prosecutor. And the prosecutor basically says, in short words, yeah, the guy's nuts. Okay, I think I can see where this is going. And then we talk to the defense attorney, and the defense attorney says, yes, my client is nuts. Huh, what decision are we going to make? He's nuts!
So he couldn't just admit to being nuts. They couldn't plead nuts. Yes, they had to have a jury decide nuts.
That's right. And the interesting thing, you look at the defendant there, and he's just kind of sitting there, twiddling his thumbs or something.
Sitting there with a big smile on his face, thinking to himself, no one knows.
No expressions.
Oh, no expression.
Apparently, the actual crime that was committed was, I think he was homeless, and he got into a fight with somebody. And who was involved? What, I don't know, because we weren't deciding that. We were deciding whether he was nuts, whether he was able to sit trial.
Did they actually send you to deliberate on that one, or did they just?
Right.
So you had to.
And get this. Okay, so we go into the deliberation room and we read all the other statements. Blah 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 blah.
He's nuts. He's nuts. Okay, let's take a vote.
No problem. The question, okay, we're close to lunch. Should we order pizza on the Publix nickel, or should we just vote on the decision?
That was the big decision to make in this room.
Exactly.
Do we put in our vote of nuts now or after free pizza? I mean, if we go now, we have to buy lunch, but it'll be a better lunch than the free pizza.
Okay, so I'm going to start the time.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. Okay, guess which way we went. Ding, 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 ding.
Free pizza?
No, we wanted to get the fuck out of there.
Oh, you wanted to get the fuck out.
We popped that decision lickety split.
Went
back to the judge.
Pizza. Get the fuck out.
We're out of here. Oh, and then here's the book part. In Texas, you vote for the judges, right?
Right.
Some states do, some places
So you
don't.
voted for that judge.
He passed out his business card, kind of gave us the nod about remembering him for election day.
That sounds like the type of thing there should be a law against.
No, but it was all implied. When he was very cagey, it's kind of
It
like
was not implied.
anybody
We all
walking
knew.
off with the business card
Was there any
knew what it was
doubt
about.
in your
There was no
mind?
question. Yeah. It was hilarious. It was hilarious.
Ah, geez.
But that was the best. I mean, totally dismissed. We did our duty. We're
Yeah.
all happy people.
Well,
Thinking about the founding fathers.
what I've learned about jury duty in all my experiences is that we have a judicial system that's based on not going to trial. That seems to be the common theme I've noticed, because I was seated on a jury in Maine. We didn't make a decision. They ended the trial and settled before the trial ended. California.
Okay.
I got notifications every year, never needed us. Massachusetts, I saw 2 juries canceled today.
when I was in Colorado,
Yeah.
I got picked for a jury. I sat on the jury, and we spent a week going through the stuff, and we had to come up with a decision.
Now, was that
And
like...
the charge was, get this. This is a tough one. Sexual assault against a child.
Ooh.
Yeah, those you kind of hope you don't get.
Well...
Now, the redeeming factor of it was we didn't think any of the evidence that was presented had any basis of reality. So it wasn't like a he said, she said. It was kind of like, what the fuck? Why did they bring this to trial? So it was an easy decision that we kind of go, okay.
And speaking of bringing things to trial,
there's an arm.
Dune is going to give joining our show a trial.
Yes.
He's waving his arms.
Yeah.
Oh, do you remember this?
Oh, wait. I can do the dab thing.
Oh,
Is that it?
oh, so you are on location, I think.
I'm on location, yes.
Yeah.
Hence the don't hit me while you're driving the oil truck shirt.
Yeah, those oil trucks. Now, do they constantly honk as they drive around the whole time around the rig? When you're going in the back room of the rig there.
Yeah, because you wouldn't want to run into somebody.
Right. Well, some places have these nice hit detection things yes, they
have those too, but you still have to honk.
Oh, yeah. Well, but the hit detection.
Sorry. I just realized I walked out here. Let me see. Actually, I was going into the pouring of the Mountain Dew into the Taco Cabana cup.
Ah.
all important. This is how you have to live when you're, off the grid.
Now, is that a free Mountain Dew? Do you get to? Are you expensing every beverage? Or
fucking A. Every last beverage.
So where are you on location at?
I'm in a suburb of Dallas.
Ah.
It's Carlton.
There we go.
Texas.
Now, we were talking about Texas earlier, but now we're talking about Colorado. Brian was serving jury duty in Colorado. Now, you felt that the case was not based in reality, like the evidence was just like there was no case here. In
the way we saw it, there seemed to be no case, and we wondered why. There was a social worker that brought this case up, and the evidence was based on this girl's diary. The girl in the diary made some references to having sex with, the mother's
with the
boyfriend.
accused.
With the accused, right?
Right.
And that didn't match the other stories that were told by the mother, by the defendant, by anybody else. Like, wait a minute, these don't even match. And when the girl took the stand, she was pregnant.
Was she hot? Did you say?
Pregnant.
Was she hot?
Well, how old was she?
Well, she was.
Before you ask that question,
time she was like 14 years old. So
okay, never mind.
Wrong
to
question.
me, that's not hot.
Never mind. Never mind.
Okay.
I withdraw the question.
Dude.
But her pregnancy
very important to have
I'm just
preliminary questions.
Her pregnancy had nothing to do with this case.
You don't just open with the shilling question. You lead up to the shilling question.
Well, yeah, I guess. Maybe it has skewed my... Maybe that's what it is.
But the pregnancy had nothing to do with it, but you think that maybe she was trying to make these fake journal entries as an excuse as to how this happened? Or, I mean...
No. And then here's the other thing. The mother and the boyfriend discovered this diary, kind of looked through it, says, holy shit, this is bad, and gave it to a social worker. The social worker saw this and guys, this guy is an asshole, and he did this.
So the boyfriend was fine with handing this over because it was so obviously wrong and there's some delusions going on here and we need to get her taken care of. And the social worker was just like, well, this is clearly true, so I'm pressing charges. Or
stop it.
I think Brian's getting a phone call.
There, I finally got the whole Mountain Dew in here.
There we go. So anyways, yeah, so I that was you've had more interesting jury duty stories than mine, you know, because all I did was sit in a jury pool room all day and play video games while watching Seinfeld.
Okay, so there were also lots of things that the defending attorneys were not allowed to bring into the trial. So after the trial, and we had given the not guilty verdict,
right?
The defense attorneys came to us and said, you know, this is what we were supposed to not tell you about. Oh, for example, this girl having sex with teachers. That's also in the diary we're not allowed to talk about. So this girl had a problem, obviously.
Okay, yeah, she had a problem, and it wasn't sex with the stepfather. It was...
Right.
Although that doesn't mean that it didn't happen, but it does mean that...
But also the event sequence didn't work.
Right.
To the diary.
And speaking of event sequences, we got Venison joining the show.
Hey, Venison.
Yeah, you know, the only jury duty thing I had was pretty much like yours. You know,
Mine?
When did the jury do it? Yeah, when did it duty? And you know, and sat down there and said, okay, I'm here. Now what? And then, you know, went for the interview and couldn't stop smiling.
So that's how you got
rejected.
off.
Sit there and just smile. I'm here for the jury. You're way too happy for this. We clearly don't want you on our jury. We don't need to see no smiling faces in the jury box.
So yeah, sat in there in the jury pool for 4 days.
4 days they had you sitting there?
Wow.
Crap, you might have been on a jury.
Gee, thank God I moved out of Jersey. Because here and you only have to serve once every 3 years. So I'm good for at least another 3 years here.
Nice.
I was able to make excuses.
Now, Dune, you still there? I see you have a ceiling fan.
Nice shot of it.
Yeah. That's a nice
I do have a
fan.
ceiling fan.
Yeah.
Yes.
They sprung for the room with the ceiling fan.
As soon as I get my shorts on, I can take you on a little tour. I can take you on a tour if you'd like.
Yeah, let's make sure pants are not optional.
Is my video actually coming through?
At times, it's a little choppy, but it's there.
Let's confuse the issue there.
So Brian's got a ceiling fan. Look at me with my lack of ceiling fan. 2 rooms in this apartment have ceiling fans. This is not one of them.
I'm gonna log back in. I'm gonna close this out and get on different. See if I get different.
Okay. All right. He's gonna do that. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm gonna actually get around to playing with this, but I have a GameCube sitting next to me.
Oh.
And well, I don't know, Venison. You ever play with the GameCube?
Nope.
That would have been the early 2000s that came out. It's
Nope.
a little more advanced than Pong. But
can you raise it up a little bit because it's my little inset is breaking.
Here's the
It is a cube.
Yeah, the GameCube.
Like Eric on People of Earth.
Yeah, I bought this launch day, and I haven't used this in years because the Wii is almost completely backwards compatible. The Wii comes with ports for GameCube controllers. The Wii comes with slots for GameCube memory cards. The Wii plays GameCube games, so you could do almost everything you can do on a GameCube on a Wii. However, the GameCube had the option of the add-on Game Boy player, which I have recently picked one up. This one did not come with the startup disc. And there is software out there that you're supposed to be able to use this without having to have the startup disc that will also do better resolutions anyways. And so I've been trying to figure out how to use this software. In the GameCube modding, hacking, homebrewing community, these are a group of people that don't believe in step-by-step instructions. Every set of instructions kind of is like, well, you use your already formatted card with the super secret format and files on it, and you load this on there, and it just works. And it's like, well, wait a minute. How do I have a working card that even works on in the first place? And half of the things you go on to find have, like, broken links or, this page not found or, and I can't get a clear set of instructions how to use this fucking thing without finding, because the thing is it turns out, odd thing, based on observation,
okay, that's better.
About 90% of the people that bought these add-ons threw out the startup disc that's essential for it and kept the actual thing. And that's why you could buy one of these things no problem for like $20, free shipping on eBay. But to find one with a disc, you're looking at like somewhere around $80 to $100. Why did all these people throw out these discs? They all came with discs. There should be like maybe 10% of them that don't have the discs.
So next time you buy one, you'll say, hey, does this have the disc with it?
Oh, no, I knew what I was doing because that's why I got it for $20. But I also knew that they've made homebrew software to work with it that you can load. Supposedly, the homebrew software you could load onto an SD card, put it into this handy-dandy SD slot adapter for the GameCube slot, and put it in here and run it off of there. Most people are using...
is that little adapter a third-party thing?
Yeah. I bought this off of Amazon for $10.
Cool.
Yeah, I haven't gotten it to do a damn thing right. But I'm not sure if it's because this thing is a bogus piece of plastic that someone just put together for a quick $10, or if I just don't know how to use it right, because I can't find any clear, simple, straightforward instructions on how to make this damn thing work without having some sort of specialized boot disk. Now, what I have found is that someone designed or built a exploit for the Wind Waker, that if you load their exploit onto an SD card on one of these things and put it in there and start up Wind Waker and hit the start button, it should then start up the doll file that you want to start up, as long as you rename the file to startup.doll or boot.doll or whatever it is. So, but
plays with dolls.
So, well, it's a .dol file. So but the problem is I can't get my adapter and SD card formatted in such a way that my GameCube recognizes this as a legit memory card for the Wind Waker to then see and then do whatever the exploit's supposed to do to make it then boot to what I want to do.
What if you use the actual GameCube memory card?
I don't have a way to transfer data onto the a GameCube memory card from my computer.
Got it.
That's why they've made these devices that use, but it's not as simple as an SD card and its data and you format it and now you have a GameCube card. It's apparently not that simple, but I've not been able to find a clear instruction on that. And I finally, moments before I started the show, found an executable that's supposed to format the SD card properly to use with a GameCube for homebrew stuff. But you got to run it at the command prompt, and when I run it at the command prompt, I get an error. And I Googled that error, and the other person out there in the internet that got this error said, yeah, I couldn't get that to work in Windows 7, but I got it to work in Windows XP. So now I'm trying to create a... Shut up, Venison.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, the peanut.
You're in timeout, Venison.
The peanut. That's right. You are in timeout.
Don't
you forget it.
You've clearly missed the beginning of the show, dude.
Clearly.
Clearly. You know how up until now we've been calling the show...
Insert title here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've entered in the title.
It's time to change the title.
Yeah, we finally found. So you are now tuned in to Time Out with Gators, Brian, and Venison.
I dig it. I dig it.
So, Dude is joining us in Time Out.
I so
For
dig
how
it.
long, I don't know.
I like it. I like it.
So, thank you for the inspiration there, dude.
Man. Well, do you guys want to tour now?
Yeah, okay.
Would you like to see the?
We'll lock the camera on you.
Would you like to see the Casa de Dune?
There's some nice fancy artwork behind your head there.
Okay. Let's see. Here's where you enter the LeBeau. Of course, that's just normal door.
Door.
You got the little dining table.
Okay.
And I don't know if this is interesting. It's got an apple in it.
Yeah, it's got an apple.
Okay.
It looks like the apple on Apple Records.
You got the little kitchen here.
Oh wow, you got the microwave and the stove and the dishwasher.
You're moved in there, eh?
Now, check this out.
Two-burner stove?
Somebody has some mad skills here. Can you? Oh gosh, you probably can't see what that is.
That towel is folded like a tie, isn't it?
It's there. Yeah, you can. Okay, you can.
And like
see
a
it.
shirt and tie.
Oh, there we go. Like a shirt and tie. Yes.
Nice.
Whoa!
Wow.
First class, baby.
Fancy stuff. Okay, so we got the TV here, and of course walk into the bedroom. Now I don't know if you'll be able to get. Yeah, this is the desk and all that. I don't know if you'll be able to actually see this or not. I'm gonna get here on the bed,
All right.
and I'm actually holding. I'm holding this laptop or this iPad.
So we've all gotten into bed with Dune now.
Can you see the slant on the TV? Does it appear to angle downwards to the left?
Well, everything's kind of angling downwards to the left.
Yes. There is a dip in the floor of a good 2 inches on this, which is interesting.
So you go to sleep on one side of the bed, you wake up on the other.
Yes. So we got the.
As gravity.
We got the nightstand, the self protection.
Yes. Dune never travels without his gun.
You don't. Yeah, that's the. Of course, this is the.
Now you keep that in the safe when you go into to work, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got a safe in here. So in the bathroom. But here's the kicker here. Let's see. Are you ready for this? Check this out.
Ooh,
nice!
Yeah, nice pool right out there.
I got the pool view.
Yeah.
So of nobody at the pool.
No.
And the reason why I got the pool view is because Johnny's neighbors that live upstairs have relatives that were in the room above me before I got this room. And I tried really hard. To put up with it. It must be a family that has an extended stay going on or something, because it's kids. And the first night, 10 o'clock, these kids running around, boom, 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 boom. I mean, just up and down, jumping off the bed, boom.
Who lets their kids jump around at 10 o'clock in a hotel room?
Exactly. The next night, 11 o'clock.
Oh.
12 o'clock the next night, which was a Saturday night. Come Sunday night, I was like, I am done. So I went to the desk and said, I need to move. And the thing is, I know because of the lack of argument that I had to move, that they obviously knew about this, because I had mentioned, I said, I doubt I'm the first person that's telling you this. So, Yeah, that's a bad deal. That
So
was a
they've been
real
getting
bad
noise complaints all week from this.
deal. Probably because
Yeah.
I know the lady next to me was doing. Yeah, but because these are like it's like a suites. So they're obviously big.
So they're
little
over
apartment
several
looking thing.
rooms.
Yeah, they probably have a double thing.
They
for their
they have
family.
But when
multiple
these kids-
opportunity to piss off multiple
Yes.
customers.
These kids,
Yes.
you know, jump on the floor like you dropping a bowling ball.
It's exactly what it sounds like because
Yeah.
well,
Oh, yes.
these floors are wooden, so you know it's like a house when you're walking around, just like where you're at. You know, boom, 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 boom.
I'm amazed a bowling ball or a kid hasn't come through that ceiling up there into this room and
That's
in
what
the
and that's
time.
what I was. I mean, some of the
Yeah.
stuff I was like, I'm just like, what is that sound? I mean, it was just like, boom. I'm thinking,
Sometimes
could
it's
you-
bowling
what could
balls,
you-
sometimes it's kegs. You know, so 'cause you
Yes.
got to switch it up sometimes.
so it's either the people on the video that you and I saw, or
Yes.
they're relatives of your friends.
Yes, yes.
could be.
There's
Do you have sound? Wait a second. Are the people doing? Are they there making sounds this week?
Well, actually, I think they went out for a day trip on Saturday because I was actually able to record in some vinyl on Saturday without.
Because I was gonna say if it's been quiet at your house, I'm gonna be so pissed because they're here.
It's
They are here.
no. I've heard.
If they
some
come
of
back
them.
and they go, oh, we were in Texas.
I heard some of them today, so they're not
Yeah.
as bad as they were. I think they're starting to settle into the new place, but I still definitely get some thumps and badumps every now and then. But it's
So are these
tolerable.
new neighbors?
Yeah, new neighbors moving
Maybe
above.
they're adjusting the furniture.
Yeah, no. Well, that's what I thought the first week, but this has gone on long enough.
Right.
Are there, do they have kids?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's all you need to say. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that was pretty shocking.
But I've been nice so far. I mean, they needed to. They had a problem with the clogged drain, so they sent a kid down to see if we had a wrench, and so I had just the wrench because I had that from when I was trying to tighten the so they had their own plumbing. So I loaned them the wrench, and they brought it back, and the next day there was a plumbing truck parked outside the house when I came home.
So they couldn't fix it either.
So no, the wrench did not. Apparently he was trying to remove the bottom part of the faucet to remove the clog out that way or whatever. And I was thinking to myself, they better not flood my place. If they flood my place, I'm going to so regret handing this wrench over because it'll be my own fault.
See, if you were proactive, you could have given the wrench with a bucket.
Didn't
Didn't think of that.
no, I didn't think of that.
wow, yeah, that would be not good.
No. But no, that worked
But
out
anyway.
fine. Yeah, it's not too bad. There were some
So I got-
days that it was like, oh my, what the heck? But it's tolerable. It's at least I'm not living above Satan's boombox anymore. I mean that was
the shot place.
yeah. I got to feel shots through the floor every evening up to midnight.
I don't know what
out
the
in
picture is
California.
behind me. I don't know if you can tell. It's kind of some sort of scape or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
some kind of a nice overview shot there. Now, Dune, you must have served on some juries in your time.
Just only one I actually served on, and then I've been called a couple of times, but one time all I had to do was call in, and I got
And-
released. And then the next time it was a federal case, and I went in and had to fill out a great big information form out, and then the next day we were released because the whole thing was moved to another venue or something.
Yeah,
So
like I was saying earlier, my experience of the judicial system is it's based off of not having trials. That seems to be the center focus.
The one I was actually on was a kidnapping burglar or kidnapping robbery trial. So it was interesting, but it's not like on TV. They don't have some big zingers and then dong dong and then it's over. It doesn't work that way.
Well, clearly you got a bad producer in your courtroom
It's like
there.
yes, they do because it's like 2 days of complete utter.
If you dogs would help, they could put a sound guy in there.
There's some exciting stuff that happens,
Mhm.
and then there's some not so exciting stuff that happens. And I'm trying to think what was probably one of the best moments.
Any video footage?
No, unfortunately not. But one of the best moments was this was a case where a person was actually taken out of their home, or no, he was held in their home for money, and then they robbed the house and left, and then the guy was caught, and the kidnapping part of it, it's not like, because you hear kidnapping, you always think Lindbergh baby or something like that, and it's not. If you retain somebody from, if you went into Venison's house and didn't let him leave, that's kidnapping.
So while he was burglaring the house, he was kidnapping.
He was
the charge for that.
He was detained from leaving his own house, so he wouldn't let him. Yeah. So anyway, there was at one point that this guy was kind of the guy that was being the guy that was accused was spinning his yarn of what he was doing at the time, and his story was that he was hired by somebody else to drive a truck to help move some stuff. So he was just out in the truck. There was actually somebody else in the house doing the burglaring, I guess. So, well, anyway,
was that the case? Was this just the driver or the accessory to the crime?
No, this was a lie. He was just lying.
He was in there.
It was just one cat. Yeah, he went in and did all the stuff. But anyway,
So he was trying to make up a story to get out of it, basically.
Yeah, he was making up a story.
And doing a bad job of it.
Yeah, he made up a story that he met a guy, and a guy said, "Hey, I want to move some stuff. I'll pay you $25, and all you have to do is, drive your truck over here. I'll load it up. We'll take it over my house." That was his story. So he goes, "So I was just out sitting in my truck, and the defensive or the prosecutor
and the other guy ran off, left me holding all this stuff in my truck."
Exactly.
That's how it got in there.
That's how it happened.
It could have been a good one for Judge Judy, right?
And the fact that I turned out of a parking lot, saw a police officer, shut my lights off, went speeding down the street, parked my truck in a driveway, and then hid underneath another car 4 houses down was just irrelevant.
Right.
Yeah.
Really has trust issues with the police,
Yes, he has trust issues.
He was triggered.
Well, anyway, so yeah, there you go. So he's sitting there in the courtroom, and he's in the prosecutor saying, so what were you doing while you were waiting for the guy to get the stuff? And he goes, oh, I was just listening to some tunes in my truck. And the prosecutor goes, really? He goes, and what tunes were you listening to? And while the prosecutor's saying this, he reaches over and he picks up this piece of paper or an envelope that has, I assume it has a photograph in it. And he goes, and what tunes were you listening to? And the guy kind of stops for a minute, and there's like a pause, and he goes, the tunes in my head. And he goes, well, what tune were you listening to in your head? And the guy actually said the Star Spangled Banner. And this guy's wife, the guy who did the robbing, his wife is in the courtroom,
and she's just
and she's literally like this. She's just like this, going like this. And of course, what the guy had was a picture of the truck that had no radio in it. Yeah.
And the guy realized, oh shit, yes, they're here to show me this. If I say, oh my head, I was just humming to myself.
But this is long before. Yeah. So anyway, that was it took. I think it was about 3 days. It was a fairly long, drawn out, thing, but it was very, a learning experience.
So they charged him with kidnapping? Did they get convicted of kidnapping, or did they let that one go?
Well, he was found guilty, but I don't know. Then you have sentencing and stuff like that we're not involved in. So
right, because they dismiss you after that verdict.
Yes.
Although the court is open to the public, so you could have gone and attended.
Oh, I could have. Oh, yeah, I would. At the time I was working third shift, my give a shit was way busted. Right.
Yeah, I've got a question about this.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This just got me for a second. He said the guy parked the truck in the driveway and then hid underneath the car 4 houses down.
Yes.
How'd they find him?
Oh, I think they were just driving past. They saw him underneath the car. Or they might have had a dog. They
Okay.
might have had a dog. They might have had a dog or something. I don't know. It might have been a canine. I don't. It's long enough ago. I don't really remember the details.
Well, I mean, there was that case of the Boston Marathon bomber. He was hiding in a boat,
Yeah.
in somebody's backyard.
It may be
know.
some. Like I said, I don't know the details.
Hey,
I don't know if
dude.
somebody saw him get underneath there or what it was, but it was his truck. And he was. And when the guy called the police, I mean, he said, you described the guy and exactly what he was wearing and everything else.
The point
so.
is he was identified as being the guy
Yes.
in the house doing the
Yeah,
robbing
yeah.
and burglaring and kidnapping.
Yeah. So. Yeah, there was no doubt. I mean, it wasn't like it was any type of possibly, maybe, kind of, sort of.
No, he was.
That's
the
usually
guy.
not the. Yeah, I was going to say, usually when you see a police officer and you flip your lights off and hit the gas, that's usually not the.
That's a good sign that
That's not usually a person that's just trying to be courteous.
you've been doing something.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't want to blind the police officer with my lights.
Yeah, I do want to. That's right. That's right. But not to mention he was by himself, so because I think he claimed the other guy ran away or something. I don't know, but
Yeah, like he was.
But my whole experience, the whole learning part of it was just how much mundane, to me, the setups that just go on and on and on that don't really seem to do anything for the case. But I guess they have to say all that stuff, though.
Well, that's the thing is that like they have to make sure they present everything that you need
Yes.
in the case to prove everything beyond a reasonable doubt. Because, like, one thing that they say as an example, they don't want you doing any of your own investigation. Because I know in Maine they
Right.
made a point to mention to us, if you don't understand what a word means, don't go home and look it up in the dictionary. That's doing outside research. You're not allowed to do that. The whoever's presenting the case should be explaining what things mean enough for you to understand. And and to me that seems like taking it to a ridiculous, ludicrous level of what do you mean I can't go look up a word in the dictionary? What if I want to know what that word means anyways?
That seems a little ridiculous.
Yeah. That's the type of thing where, I mean, you kind of probably shrug those things off, but, they don't want you, I get the whole they don't want you reading articles about it. They don't want you, like, driving out to the place where it took place and kind of scoping it out. They don't want you doing your own investigation.
The courts are definitely afraid of a mistrial.
Right.
If you accidentally say the wrong thing, the trial is over.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's certain things they keep out. Like I don't think they can say. I know there's certain rules about if you can say if a person's done this before, kind of thing. I don't know if they can do that or not. It has to have
pretty much not.
I don't think so. It has to be relevance to it for some reason. But,
right.
But that was my whole thing though. Is like I said, it was not like on TV. That's for sure. It was pretty,
yeah.
But see in the part of the trial that comes up with the shall we say the punishment phase, they can bring in other cases to show that the guy's a bad guy. But
which is
for that
probably,
trial, guilt or innocence on this event, that's all we want to know.
That would make sense.
Put the blinders on everything else.
But it is a lot of, like I said, there's a whole lot of stuff because they have to, of course, they bring the police officers in. They have to tell their story. They have to do this and this and this. Because everybody, and the only thing that did stand out was I do remember somebody saying one time that, because this guy did get on the stand, obviously, and testify. And somebody had said one time, he said normally 9 times out of 10 when people want to testify, they're usually guilty. I guess. So I don't know. But like I said, there was, like I said, there was maybe 20 minutes of, good stuff, and the rest of it was just kind of snorefest. But in the end, I guess justice was served. I don't know what happened. If it was the first time, probably nothing. I mean, he probably got off with I'm sure he had to do parole or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
The guy, he didn't hurt the guy, so that's one thing about it. I mean, I think when batteries
did
involved,
the guy get all his stuff back?
Yeah, he did.
And I take it there were no guns involved.
No, it was just strong arm.
Yeah, because you're bringing a gun in the situation, and you might as well put on the thumb screws yourself.
Yeah, this was a definite mismatch of persons where the guy who was convicted of it was a very large guy. I mean, and the other guy was pretty small and meek. So that's what it was. And of course, that was one of my things. No, well, it was kind of one of my wonders too. I kind of wondered if they knew each other or knew of each other, because I don't know, makes you kind of wonder.
You felt like there was some kind of connection or something.
I thought the guy who got robbed seemed a little flaky to me too. kind of because my first inclination is that I wonder if he had bought drugs or something from this other guy at one time. Maybe that's how
the guy was collecting payment.
And that's that's how he knew to go to that place, because it just seemed odd. Why do you pick this duplex?
So in other words, it didn't seem like a random house.
Well, it just seems odd that you would just randomly pick this house and then kick the door in and then, do that if you didn't know who was in there, because it could be me.
Yeah. With a shotgun pointing at his face.
Yes. So.
Well, now, would it be interesting to get into the OJ case where he was convicted and went to prison? Because he went into the hotel room and apparently knew these guys, and there was an altercation, blah, blah, blah.
And there was guns involved in that one, too, I think.
And there were guns involved and all this bullshit. Yeah, and they probably all knew each other and all this kind of stuff. So, yeah, that had to be a little bit shaky.
It's like those stories you hear somebody call the police because they went somewhere to buy weed and got robbed. You love those. Those are the best. Those are the best.
Yeah, I feel sorry for you, dude. Not.
I think the only other better story than that was there's a magazine I used to read, and it was like an American Shooter or something like that, and it would always have stories of somebody using a firearm to thwart a crime or whatever. And it just so happened there was a guy that was carjacked, put in the trunk of his car, and the guy had literally just stopped on the way home to get something to drink from being at the gun range. So he's in his car, in his trunk, with all of his firearms.
Oh, nice. That's exactly where he wants to
be. Which way do I start shooting?
Yes. So needless to say, when they got to wherever, they stuffed him in the trunk, and I guess they were going to take him out. And I think what the story is, I don't know if they were going to try to shake him down for more money or see if he had more money or what the deal was. But, of course, when the trunk opened, it was... needless to say, it was probably not a pretty sight. Chalk went up for the good guys there.
So he basically got a gun in his hands and waited for the trunk to open.
I think he had a gun in each hand when the trunk opened up.
Hey, if you got more than one, use it, right?
I was going to say there was also one there, and it had to do with the lady, and it was actually something I hadn't really thought about. It was a lady who was locked in the trunk. Of course, they got trunk releases now on most of the cars.
Right. Yeah.
But what she did that was really smart, if anybody's listening out there and think about, is she actually she grabbed the wires off the taillight and tore them out. So the taillights went black in the car, and the police pulled them over. Just a lucky deal, but it makes sense.
Right.
I mean,
well, you could have pulled them if you cut them. You could have started signaling SOS with them.
Yeah,
by touching them.
You get on your phone and start.
But I've heard of but if you could kick out the tail light and kind of move your hand out or try to get a hand or a finger or an appendage to the outside of the car to tip off people that, hey, something's not right here. But no, that was a lucky one, pulling out the wires.
Yeah, that's a good smart person there.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to fix my burner that I won't use.
There you go.
So I don't know I don't want to know what I missed on the first hour. I'll just figure that out myself. I'll write my own.
Well, we were told.
Timeout. I like the timeout thing. I like timeouts.
The goal was to talk about talking about politics.
That's hard to do, and we won't get into it. I'm not. Believe me,
because I don't want to.
I've calmed down.
I don't want to talk about politics because I know it's tough with you, but I also feel like that's a problem in this country. Is that there's not enough talking about things. There's shouting your things without listening, and this is a general thing on all sides, or there's shutting it down and not listening. And, this system of ram our thing through, undo what the other people did, could just go back and forth forever without much getting done. And do you have any interest in bipartisanship? Or that's a curiosity on my part. And I said I wasn't going to talk about politics, and I ask you a direct, right to the point question.
Right to it. Right to it.
Do you have any interest in bipartisanship?
Well, it depends what you consider that to be, I guess. I mean,
the two parties working together.
Well, I think. It should be. I think if we had more people that weren't career people, it probably would be much easier. Because there's too many people that just owe their life to the party. That's the problem. You got younger Republicans and younger Democrats that want to do things, but then you got the older ones that they don't want to do things because it doesn't matter to them. That's the really sad part. I think there's a lot of the McCains, the Pelosi's, the people that have been there and just entrenched forever. They really don't give a rat's ass who's president. They seriously don't.
I've talked to people
they're going to have a job.
Sides.
They're going to have a job. They don't care.
I've talked to people on both sides about term limits, and everybody agrees we should have term limits,
except for them.
No. I mean, these people that are not in politics directly, but they could just see as a Pelosi go, a McCain go, or whatever.
Absolutely.
Hey, let's just go. Bring in these new people.
Yes, all of them. Absolutely.
Now, you don't want, like in Congress, it's 2 years. You don't want to limit it to 2 terms. Okay, so maybe that's 4 terms.
No,
but the Senate should be 2 terms.
I was going to say 2 terms for this. Yeah.
Senate, 12 years is plenty.
That's more than enough.
And in House of Representatives, maybe 4 years would be plenty.
Yes. I would say 2. Yeah, hey, I don't see a problem with that, and that's the whole issue is they really don't care, because it doesn't matter if there's a Republican or a Democrat in office. They're still going to get paid by their interests. They're still going to get everything. It doesn't make a difference. It's almost like they would just as soon work the angles to make.
They're basically they reach a point that they can't be voted out.
Yes.
Their election is just not beatable.
It's just automatic. Yeah, you're right. Now, every once in a while it happens, but not very damn often. And that's the whole thing. It was never designed to be like that.
Right. Because the Senate may go. The Senate may go Democrat next time around, but even if that does happen, and that's debatable. I'm not trying to say, it's going, but if that happens, McConnell's just going to go from majority leader to minority leader, and he can obstruct just as well in the minority position as he can in the majority,
as Pelosi does. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, she's in there a long time. She's really good at it, whether you like it or not. And so she can get things. She can either get things done or stop things from happening.
Yeah, I don't know until they actually get can get that pushed through. I mean, it is a big supporter of term limits, but if nobody will vote on it, there's nothing you can do about it. That's the
trouble is it has to go through the legislature, right?
They have to vote it. They have to vote it themselves. So
I mean, there's clearly conflicts of interest that exist here, and no way to fix it because of conflicts of interest.
Well, actually, there are ways to do it. We could have a constitutional convention says, okay, we've got to fix this
Mhm.
problem.
Well, who?
Yeah, no, there's been lots of people talking about trying to do that, but that's rough. That's hard too.
How do we?
Sure.
Now, I know I've read this, reviewed this. How do you have a constitutional convention? How does that?
It's done through basically the local. Um, your it's done through the state. The states have to get together on it at a state level. I have to go and look it up, but it's basically going. It would go around. It's the only other way to change the
Yeah,
Constitution.
you have to go state by state.
Yeah, it has to be so many. I mean, it's
That's got to be
damn
ratified by a certain number of states.
states. Yes.
Well, the
And
interesting thing is in California state legislature, they went for the term limits. It's like, yo-ho!
Well, okay, but how do we? I just don't see our
I don't know.
our current.
I don't know. I know you can only hope that enough young guns start getting in there that actually, because there's a lot of people that are in there that they'll flat out say we're here to do a couple of years or terms, whatever, and they leave. And that's what it should be.
And maybe what they should do is also get rid of all those benefits that go on forever. Unlimited health care as soon as you get an office.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a lot of stuff like that. That's just
Sure.
It's just paycheck stuff, and yeah, you're right. But the whole thing is it should never be. You should never have a person that goes into Congress and then becomes a bazillionaire, which many of them have.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do the math on what they
flip
make.
side is you have some guys, some of the founding fathers, when they got out of politics, they were broke. Okay, so there's a middle ground someplace, right?
I mean, because if you think about it, what a bonus. I mean, all you have to do is be elected one term, have a paycheck for the rest of your life. I mean, man, cha-ching,
It's ridiculous.
cha-ching.
Yeah.
But yeah,
but even to me, I am a little bit queasy about the idea. A lot of times, a guy gets, is is a police officer and he goes up the ranks, he becomes a police chief. And then rather than having a standard retirement as a police chief, he gets this disability benefit. What the fuck is that about? And we just put up with it.
I guess.
What do you mean disability benefit? I mean,
well,
in a number of places, they hand this guy a disability benefit, and he's not even disabled. That's because they don't have retirement money.
So they make up a disability, and
yes, no. Well, they just here you go. They just hand it to him.
This is a way
to. You mean as a perk? You mean?
Yes.
Okay, well, and I kind of know where you're going because somebody's going to have to help me out here because I think this might have happened in New York. Aren't there a lot of toll roads and stuff there?
Yeah.
There was somewhere, and this has been several years back, but I don't know if it ever got squelched or not. But the retirement for that particular sector that was a union thing was based on a percentage of your last year's pay, or either last X amount of months or last year's pay. And they would routinely have people that were retiring the year before they would leave would just work insane hours of overtime. And they were allowed to do this. It would sometimes double their salary for a year. And then that was what, and that was what set the flag for your retirement benefits. And it was routinely done. I mean, it was.
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous.
Yes, and they were talking about. I mean, it was just a huge amounts of money.
Huh.
And it's working the system like that really just is crap because you and I are the ones paying for that.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what sucks.
Or you've got this pension system that goes bankrupt.
Yeah, because they get to the point where they're paying out more than they're getting in. That can only last so long.
Right.
Unfortunately. But yeah, term limits all the way. I mean, we can not agree about many things, but that's one. Trust me, I'm
sure.
It's got to happen. I just don't think. I think until it happens, it's just going to be like I said, I really don't. Did you ever watch the movie, by the way, The Distinguished Gentleman? I remember I put that on your list to watch.
I've not gotten to that yet.
Okay, you've got to promise me. You've got to promise me to watch that.
All right.
Write it down or do something. If nobody else has watched that, has anybody here watched Distinguished Gentleman with Eddie Murphy?
Yep.
Is that Venison?
Yeah, Venison says
Yeah,
yes.
Okay,
I
Venison.
thought.
And I had told Johnny, I said there is a part in there where one of the congressmen that had been in there forever is explaining to Eddie Murphy, or no, it wasn't a congressman. I think it was a lobbyist. That's what it was. It was a lobbyist. And he explained. He goes. So where are you on this? And he goes, well, Eddie Murphy goes, well, where do you think I should be? He goes, well, hell, I don't care. He goes, if you're for it, I'll get you money from the trial lawyers. If you're against it, I'll get you money from the petroleum people. I mean, and that's exactly what it was. It didn't matter. It didn't matter which side he was on. He was still going to get money from the opposite side.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's the way it's spelled out in that movie is just really intense. It's a funny show, but it really, really hits home to the way things work because you get to see how things actually happen, and then you get to see you got the good congressmen that go through all kinds of hoops to get to where they are, and then you got the ones that were just they went through the motions, got there, and they're dug in like ticks.
Oh, I got a totally legitimate purchase option loading as we speak. So yeah, I'll put that on the list to watch.
Yes, you'll like it. It's a very funny show. It's a good show, and like I said, you'll be just going like, yep, I get it now. Now I understand what Dune's talking about. Hey, plus it's Eddie Murphy. Come on.
Oh yeah, yeah, I'll watch Eddie Murphy.
Oh sure, absolutely.
You know,
Weird corruption.
the last time I download a completely unrelated topic. The last time I downloaded an Eddie Murphy movie, my internet got shut off for a few days. This might be a bad idea. Maybe I should stop this and find a. Is it on Netflix?
A legitimate source.
Is it on Netflix?
Are you downloading or archive copy? Is that what you're telling me?
I may or may not be.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I decline to answer at this time. Is there any way I could see what's on Netflix without logging into Netflix? Because
How do you do that?
Well, I don't have a password with me right now. Kristen's got the password.
They got a TV guide or something?
And the
You
password
can't
is
just
not
go into
password.
Netflix and look at what movies are available.
Right. I want to see if it's there so that I could be like, well, I'm not going to download this when I could watch it legitimately. You know, I'm not going to do this. I got a bad feeling about this.
Are you
I said-
Amazon Prime?
Yeah, I am.
Good, if they're
You can look it up there as well.
So just theoretically, you're telling me that theoretically one time you may have theoretically downloaded a movie and then theoretically got in trouble?
Yeah, well, it seems to be that I've never gotten in trouble for music. It's always been movies or TV shows that I've gotten in trouble for. And this was when I was still living at home with my parents in Jersey, so it was on my dad's cable account. So he's the one that would go to jail if it came down to it.
Gee, thanks, Johnny.
You're using the wrong
Would you visit your dad in jail?
I'd go visit him. I'd totally go visit him.
What a good son.
Yeah, you know,
You're a good guy.
not a monster. You know, I just got him thrown in jail. I'm not gonna not visit him. But no,
No, he's not
Would
a
you post
monster.
bail?
If Dad gave me the access to the accounts, my dad could afford to post bail. I was still living with my parents. I can't afford to post bail.
You go to the judge and say, "Hey, I got a bag of Cheetos."
Of
Could
course,
that
Johnny
count
couldn't
as
afford
bail?
this. That's why he was downloading the movie.
That's why I'm not buying. I can't afford a movie. You think I can bail my dad out of jail? No. Well, here's what happened. So I was working at the bank, and you know, talking about downloading stuff for free or whatever. People are like, oh, you know how to do stuff like that, and I'm like, oh yeah, you get the iMesh. iMesh, great free program. Just search for it, you find it, or you know, and someone's like, oh, I want to see that new Barbershop 2 movie. Could you download Barbershop 2 for me? Yeah, I could download Barbershop 2 for you. So I download Barbershop 2. I burn it to a DVD-R. I bring it in. Here you go. Next thing I know, an envelope comes in the mail. Did it have my name on it, or did I get a phone? Somehow, something came to me that basically was a notification from Comcast that stated that we detected or got a report of activity on your account for downloading the following file, you know, barbershop2.avi.
Wow.
You know, please don't do this again or we will turn your internet off. I'm like, okay, well, it was clearly the MPAA that was targeting this, so I'm just going to stop downloading movies, and I'll just stick to, you know, safe things like music or, you know, TV shows or whatever.
This is why you want to get a VPN.
Right. Well, so then one of my buddies mentioned, oh man, I remember that was so funny back in the day, the movie Eddie Murphy Raw. So I thought this was like Eddie Murphy doing stand-up comedy, you know, like a HBO special or some TV special, something like that, Eddie Murphy Raw. I didn't realize till I downloaded it that this was released in the movie theaters motion picture, even though it's just him doing his stand-up routine. Mm-hmm. And so that flagged me as downloading a movie again. And so next thing I know, the internet stopped working. And so I called them up, and I'm like, my internet's not working. Oh, your account was flagged for abuse. And the first attitude they give you is it possible you were hacked? Maybe you need to, you know, secure your network. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll take care of that. I could clear that up. Could you turn it back on? Oh yeah, sure, we can. Oh, well, this is the second time this has happened. This is due to downloading. I can't turn that back on. I'm like, well, what can you do? And here's the thing that just, you know, really pissed me off. Because, now mind you, the whole getting high-speed internet started with, hey, Dad, I want high-speed internet and the cable's in your name. If it's $20 extra a month to add high-speed internet to the cable package. If I give you $20 every month, can you just add this? And basically, you know, I was using it. My brother was using it because he was chipping in $10 a month with me, and so we were both chipping this. At some point, you know, I set up a router. We had Wi-Fi, so Mom's using it on her laptop, and now we get to the point where I'm moving out of the house. So that $20 a month's going away, but there's no way Dad's turning that off. So
That's right.
like 3 days before move-out day is the day the internet stops working, and I'm told on the phone, well, we can't turn it back on because you've been abusing it with the downloading. And I'm like, look, I'm moving out of the house in 3 days, and my parents need the internet to work. What can you do for me? And by the next day, the internet was working again. Yeah.
Wow.
And my parents were not going to go download
No,
Eddie Murphy Raw.
Is that not just a little weird that they're actually monitoring what comes in and out of your internet, though? Doesn't that seem kind of
That's the
shifty?
Well,
here's the thing.
possibly.
Well, the thing
I
is,
got a question with the IMAX
Well,
thing,
let me-
or whatever you use.
well, let me address Dune's question. The first one, I believe, was that someone's monitoring something, and I think people will monitor things and report you to the ISP, and the ISP will. They don't want to be. You know, the ISP is not going to monitor everything, but they're also going to listen to complaints and act on them so that they don't get put in a position where they have to be. Because I think that was an issue. There was an issue of should the ISP be the internet police or not. And I think the ISP.
So do you think it was a setup kind of thing, possibly?
Well, there's been setups. I don't know how they're monitoring it, but I do know that there were companies out there that would set up things. Now, the thing is that the first one I think was by chance that someone reported me to the ISP. Now, after that, I don't know if I got busted again by chance or if the ISP basically was monitoring my activity at that point and saw, yeah, he's getting another movie.
So
turn
the
it
first
off.
incident triggered them to monitor you.
I don't know. I don't know. and I'd
That'd be
have no
interesting.
way of
That'd be-
knowing.
That would be interesting to know the answer to that, because it
No.
seems kind of scrupulous to be able to, snip your own packets, I guess, for lack
Yeah.
of a better term.
Well, I know I got in trouble for downloading My Name is Earl in Maine, and that was the penny incident.
Right.
Because and that was the case where my first warning, they left a voicemail message that I claimed I never received, and they had no way of proving that I ever heard that voicemail message or ever received it. So I felt that they should have taken that excuse and considered that my first warning, since they actually spoke to me on the phone rather than. But they got all. Talk about overreaction. Like, we're done with you. We don't want your service. Go away. We won't. We don't. And that's when it's like, well, fuck you. You're getting $125 worth of pennies. I gave them every opportunity to not have to deal with pennies. But
That's great. That's
anyways, you
interesting.
wanted to ask about something, Venison.
The thing you use to download these movies with. What is it, iMesh? What is
iMesh.
that?
That's probably dating my story. That was kind of
Yeah,
like
I remember that.
iMesh, LimeWire. There were different programs that
It was the video side of Napster,
Well,
basically.
it was
It was
basically
like the Napster video.
it was iMesh was anything you wanted to share. It was file sharing software that it was like its own little browser that you had to search. You typed in what you were looking for, and it returned search results. You double-clicked on it, and it would download it from people that are sharing that file.
One of
And
those.
back then, things like LimeWire, iMesh, eMule, that was another one I used a lot,
Mhm.
eMule. Now, the thing about those programs, though, that it took me a while to figure out that that's what was doing it, is they often came with little free gifts that would let all their friends into your computer. So people that installed that usually ended up with a bunch of infections on their machines. And
It wasn't Bonsai Buddy.
no. Well, I would always run an antivirus, and it would usually stop, or I'd uninstall things. So I had the knowledge to keep things at bay. How at bay, I don't know. But yeah, I had other people that told me, yeah, I tried that iMesh thing and it totally infected my computer. I'm like, really? I didn't have that problem. Although I did have a problem once. It was embarrassing because when the cable guy came out and installed the high-speed internet, he's like, okay, I need you to reboot your computer. And that was the first time I had rebooted my computer in like over a week. And a lot of installers don't actually complete until you reboot your computer. So I rebooted my computer, and oh my God, it was like Las Vegas had invaded my computer. Blinking lights
And
and
you have
bars
all of
here.
these
Click here
free
for live
programs
nudes.
that you
Click
didn't
here
want.
for the casino. And it was just like, I don't know how this got on my machine, sir. Honest.
And that's it. Yeah, using programs like that. Even way back when, I heard about all the nasty things that went on in there, and monitoring. So I went there and used, the good old fashioned standby, which I have never had a problem with. DC++. Wonderful,
That was
wonderful
much later.
program.
That was
Well,
much
that's
later,
something you
yeah.
got to be part of a group of people that share things, though.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, you did.
You have to already
they
know
had-
people that have what you want.
Yeah.
Oh
I
no!
just-
A whole bunch of people get in there, and you find the stuff in there. You can have many
But
thousands
that's
of people
more
in there.
that's more a small community than everyone in the world type of thing.
Yeah, but
Yeah, because
since
the mesh
it's,
was
you
just
know,
like Napster was.
no, this is better because because of the fact that these are what they call hub groups. They have operators there that monitor shit to make sure that no outside monitoring gets done.
Yeah, some of my quad friends have that kind of a group, and it's great. They definitely like it when I join.
I can't
there.
begin to tell you the amount of movies.
Anyways,
I guess
Live
something to
mesh.
watch
I
now.
completely forgot about that.
yeah, but it was.
Because I got lots of movies off there too. Because always, especially the big ones, because there might be there'd be hundreds and hundreds of people that had that file that it was seeding from. So
Yeah.
you could just download it as fast as your download would go, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, heck, I remember in the early days of music sharing in IRC chat rooms that people would run scripts that would allow you people to type commands to you to request your list of files, and then type commands to request the file from you. And it was like a little scripting type of thing. It was like running command line programs in a chat room to download files from other people that are hanging in the room, because you could send files within IRC chat room, so you could make scripts that you would type a command to the person requesting their list of files, and then you got their text document and you saw their whole music collection. Then you'd type in the command to request a song from them
at a whopping 63K or whatever it was.
Whatever it was running at.
Or 48K.
Well,
no, I mean the file, the actual MP3 quality of it was
right. 128 was
if that,
common back in the day. But I remember I had a situation one time. This came to mind, thinking about my computer being infected. I still don't know what happened to this, but I hate it the way it was resolved. It was resolved fine. I didn't have to pay the bill. But one day, I had my own phone line while I was living with my parents. And for a while, I was using that for dial-up internet. And that's when I was like, come on, Dad, let me, But I kept the phone line afterwards. So I had this phone line. I was using dial-up internet with a free number that someone gave me. And one day this charge shows up on my phone bill. It's like some kind of like 900 number type charge or something, but it was like some kind of like internet service or something. And so I call up and I'm like, I want this charge reversed. I don't know what this is. I didn't do this. Oh, it's some kind of dial-in service for online. I'm like, reverse the charge. And so they go, we have to call this number or whatever and deal with them. So I call that number. I'm like, I didn't do this, reverse the charge. And they gave me two options. They said, well, here's what you could do. If you pay half the bill, then it'll just go away. It'll never come back. Now, if we reverse the whole charge, we'll do that. But if the company comes back and says, yes, you did do this, and they have proof, then you're going to get the full charge. So do you want me to reverse the whole charge, or you just want to pay the half of it to make it go away? And I'm like, remove the whole thing, and don't you dare call me back.
Shit.
But I see, like, that was like a scam right there. Let's trick people into paying half of, like, we'll charge them $100, and then they'll give us $50, thinking, well, at least I didn't have to pay the $100, and then they'd feel happier about paying $50 or something they didn't get.
Isn't that nice?
Ugh. I never heard from them
again. It's like the way prosecutors work.
Yeah.
They threaten your entire family to send you all to jail so that you'll plead guilty for yourself as an individual.
Oh, you mean like Chong?
Well, yes.
Yes. Yeah, there's some.
And he did nothing wrong. Oh, yes, he did. That's right.
No, he didn't.
Well, he broke the law in Pennsylvania.
Well, that was like a bullshit thing. That was entrapment, really.
Of course it was, but
shouldn't the fact it was entrapment?
He didn't want to fight it because there was that thing hanging over his head that the whole family was going to go to jail.
But it was such an open and shut case of entrapment.
Yeah, but that's only if you go through the problem of a trial.
Can they send the whole family to jail for the action of one person?
The whole family?
Well, that was the threat. And I think they just didn't want to risk it. Now, the other thing is that if it went to trial in California, he probably would have gone off entirely. Right?
But it was the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is one of the Commonwealths, isn't it? Massachusetts and Pennsylvania are Commonwealths.
Yeah. But it was a federal case against him.
Oh.
But if the trial was in California, he could have gotten off. But he probably didn't know it or didn't want to take that risk.
Yeah, well, we don't know the inner details there, but all we know is that he was like, leave my family alone.
Pennsylvania's a strange state.
Well, it's not even a state, it's a commonwealth.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something weird about Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Can't
Either
quite.
telephone poles are weird looking.
Can't
You need to
quite
tell me
put my
because I'm gonna
finger-
be there next week. So if there's anything you need to let me know about these things.
It's because of all those Amish
Well-
people.
Well, yeah, but there's Amish in other states. Where in Pennsy you headed to?
Allentown.
Allentown. Oh, okay, that's not too bad. That's not too
Cool.
far from Jersey.
Playing Billy Joel all the way there.
Oh, I'm sure they never get sick of that song.
I did.
So, Dune, will you be wearing that yellow shirt there in Pennsylvania?
Yep.
All right.
I wear this every time I'm around the oil because it's such an oil-friendly shirt.
Yeah, no, I can see
Yeah.
that.
Yes, it just we have fluorescent colored oil, so it doesn't stain.
Yeah, there's a few other things
Actually,
I found about
I'm
Pennsylvania.
amazed.
I did like.
I'm amazed I came home this clean though. This is actually pretty
Cool.
good.
Yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't look like you're around the oil all that much.
I wasn't around the well. I was inside most of the day today.
So, apparently, when you get out to California, just don't mention that means oil. Just say, oh, it's just a yellow shirt.
We got oil there too. Electric motors need oil. Eh?
Sure, but they're in total denial, right?
Well, they still need oil.
I'm not going to argue with that. Absolutely, I agree. I use oil. I like it.
Otherwise,
come
they
on, Brian.
squeak.
You know all about the California oil.
Sure, absolutely.
You drink
When
the
they bitch
California
about
oil.
fracking, they go, "Hey, wait a minute, we invented fracking here."
You
Oh.
drink the California oil for breakfast there.
Absolutely.
All I need is the door code and the PIN number to whatever credit card you have on file.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because Dune's going to be staying in the party house.
At the Casa
Yeah.
the Monterey de Casa.
Now
of,
that
de
that was just a
Brian.
picture of the storage shed where you're going to keep the beer for him, right?
Sure.
Well, the keg, yeah.
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 Because Brian sent this picture.
Z.
Brian sent a
Keg,
picture of the party house, which was a picture of this tiny shed. And it's like, no. I think there's a misunderstanding here. That's where the kegs are.
That's right.
That's not the house.
Right.
I just want to see the view. 'Cause it's ocean view, right? I can't imagine you
we
have
have
anything other
a
than
view of the fence in the back and a view of the street in the front. That's about it.
but you can hear the ocean.
Yeah. Open the window. Yeah.
I'm good. That's good enough.
Yeah.
I
And
just
no
drive around.
hurricanes.
Is this Brian's house? Yes, it is. Thank you. Boom.
Boom.
PIN number. Probably 11111, right?
Too many ones, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's right. 4 ones. And then we're good to go.
Yeah, and if you run into any problem, just type it in backwards. That'll alert the
That's right.
authorities.
Drop my Casey and the Sunshine Band cassette deck in.
Yeah. Cassette.
Yeah.
What are you bringing venison with you for?
I'm
the
bringing
tunes?
venison with me. Well, you know what? Speaking of which, that tweet that Damon had about the quad thing.
Oh yeah, I emailed that guy.
And he used cassette. You know the reason I wish Damon would. I don't think he watched the video because that was a pretty painful video to watch. It was
an
very
interesting
long.
video too, though.
It was very interesting, but what got me is like, how does somebody who obviously has the artistic skills of this guy to do what he did, can somebody like have some pride in their wiring, please?
Oh,
that was my
the
biggest-
wires in this room, Dune.
But you don't have wires going over the top of your mixer to where you have to reach through the wires to run your faders. So
No, but I get it. No, I actually sent that guy an email, and he emailed me back.
oh really?
Yeah, I sent an email. Someone sent me a link to your YouTube video about your quadraphonic performances, which has led me to your site and looking over your music that you're selling. I see you sell on FLAC, but it appears, like most things these days, you sell stereo only. FLAC does support multi-channel. Have you given thought to selling quadraphonic FLAC? I'd buy those in a heartbeat. And you might make a few other sales if you promote it over at www.quadraphonicquad.com. And he wrote back, "Hi, Jonathan. I did not even know that was a possibility. I have so far only used Quadraphonic on one performance, but this opens up new ideas. Thanks for pointing me that way. If I make more quad recordings, I will make a multi-channel edition. Might be a while, though. Cheers, Stefan.
Yep. And you know what's going to happen?
Cool.
In about 2 months, there's going to be a brand new video, and he's going to tell about his new brand new idea that he thought up all by himself with absolutely no outside help from a guy named Johnny.
Right. Well, it wouldn't be the first time that Johnny was not credited for his work.
That's
No,
true.
Exactly.
That's true. I
Right.
never thought about that.
Oh, yeah. I've gone
Yeah, you got-
uncredited.
We probably should just call you the uncredited.
The uncredited. I have been credited
Right.
on a few things.
Oh, okay.
I know I was credited on the Adrian Gale album that I assisted engineered on. I don't know if I was credited on Kaz K's album though. I should have been though. I'd have to pull out that disc though.
That's back in your.
Back
In
my
your
New
intern
York
days.
days. But I was not credited for the Rick Wakeman stuff.
Damn.
But that's okay. Whatever.
Wow.
But no, yeah, that would be so yesterday I was not able to do the Dune and Bob show, which is probably a good thing.
He wasn't on anyway.
Well, no, I was working. I didn't get off work until.
And you were going to try to do it from the hotel room though, but
I was good. I had planned on trying to do it. Yes, and just
were you still planning on trying to do it after you sent me the timeout?
Yeah, he even
How
sent
bad
me a
were you?
nasty tweet.
how bad
I
were
don't know, because that must have been really early in the day.
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
I replied to it, and you were like, "No, it means I don't want to see your crap."
Yeah, that's reason
Well-
for me too.
Well, that was after because all day my watch kept going.
Yeah, because
and I couldn't look. I didn't because I was working. I didn't have time because we were in the middle of of what I was doing. Heavy.
and you just know this has got to
Oh, I
be
can
Twitter.
Oh, I know it's Twitter because I can look up at my watch and see it bring up Twitter and then your name. I go, oh my God, he's blowing my watch up here.
Well, to be fair, it was your fault. You're the one that told me I was being put in timeout. I didn't go looking to see if you're still following me or not. I was told.
That's true. That's true. I did tell you that. But
I mean, you weren't just like, "Hey, I disagree with you. Hey, I don't like that." Like, I'm putting you in timeout. Like it's like,
That's right.
who the fuck you think you are? Put me in a corner with this guy over here.
I left you with a friend. You weren't by yourself. You had a buddy.
I don't think that's how timeout usually works.
Yeah.
We're redefining
it's not-
timeout
see-
here
see,
on
on Twitter,
timeout.
On Twitter, you
It's not how
can
any
be
of this
blocked. On Twitter, you can
Claudia
be
gives
blocked.
you.
You can go into Twitmo, and now a timeout.
Timeout.
Oh God, that'd be great if they did.
That'd be great. Twitter do a timeout. Okay, 24-hour timeout.
I think Twitter does do that. If you do something against their TOS, I think they do. 24
Well, I think that's
hour.
Twitmo, and I'm
Is
not
that
sure
what's
what the
called?
length of period is.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of
Okay.
people talk about,
Tweet
and that's why a
jail.
lot of people have 2 accounts or more, because if their main account goes into Twitmo, then they can use the other account.
Gotcha.
You know,
So that's what you're talking about.
yeah,
That's
Twitmo. What's Twitmo?
that's
when
where
you
your
get in
account
trouble.
is locked out.
Oh, well, no,
For-
I'm talking
for-
about an individual block, not a Twitter block. Scene.
Yeah. Where you can just go in and get mad at somebody and go, boop, 24 hours.
Yeah, that's what
And the
should
bad
be
thing
allowed.
is, and
Yeah.
Sir Mars hasn't been around in a while, so we can't even use him as a go-between.
No,
like we used to.
he said not a single thing about coffee. No, I said something about coffee.
Yeah.
And I
Where's
said
Mars
something
when you
about
need him?
coffee as well.
Yeah.
You know,
where's Mars when you need him?
Yeah.
sometimes he responds, sometimes he doesn't.
Yeah, someone accused someone of using the F word all the time. I'm like, I haven't seen him say Folgers at least. I've never
Right.
seen him say
Right.
Folgers. Have you heard him say Folgers?
Not one
No.
time.
Not one time. No.
Not
He's
one.
smarter than that.
Now, sure, he might say fuck a lot, but I say fuck a lot. I think in fact,
Exactly.
it's a pretty effective word, and I think it's sometimes that's what you want to convey. That's the best way to do it. You know, just you know, let's just embrace the word fuck and stop judging people for that.
I didn't even have coffee yesterday. I was sick.
Oh.
No, I had a big cup of coffee this morning because, you know, I get to the court house, you know, half hour before the doors open, and there's a Dunkin' Donuts across the street. So, of course, I'm walking over there getting a big cup of coffee. And I'm about halfway to the cup of coffee when I'm lining up to go through the metal detector, and I'm surrounded by signs that say no food or beverage beyond this point. But apparently that doesn't apply to jurors. Also, same with cell phones. Jurors can bring cell phones into the court, but no one else can. So they treat us right.
That's good.
I think I had a hangover yesterday.
Anyways, you know, I did want to, before we wrap up the show, I was going to try to do a quick dollar bin special. I just thought this was a really cool thing that I found a few weeks ago at the flea market. Check out this little single I found. Is that the cutest thing ever, or what?
Huh?
I'm holding up on the webcam. It's
No.
I'm not sure how many inches this is. I think it's 5 though. It's not a 7-inch 45. It plays at 33, and it's just I never. This is apparently pretty unique. It's not like there were a series of these. This is it. Like I actually found it referenced in a let's see. There's a Wikipedia article for unusual types of gramophone records, and one of the things that they do mention on here is 5 inches, and there are 4 entries for 5-inch records. In 1980, the British band Squeeze released a 5-inch 33 and a third RPM vinyl recording of "If I Didn't Love You," backed with "Another Nail in My Heart." And then the other entries are underground hardcore punk rock bands in the 1990s start releasing EPs on size of vinyl, including 5-inch. Harsh noise artist Merzbow released the album Green Wheels on 5-inch vinyl. Children's records were manufactured in this size in the early 1900s. Little Wonder Records all the way up into the late 50s. So this is a pretty unique record. It's not all that valuable. You could get it on eBay pretty easily for a few bucks. But I found it at the flea market. I was like, oh, I got to get that. And it's, you know, look, I mean, they put on like a label like it's a mini 45, but it does go all the way to the center with a small hole. And it's such a small space that has grooves on it. And
now,
I got...
that centerpiece something you could punch out and use the 45?
No. Even if you could punch that out, which you can't, it's not big enough for a 45 adapter.
Okay, so it's even too small.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I mean, here's the 45 adapter. Here's
oh,
that.
Gotcha. Okay.
As a matter of fact, here's a number 45, and here's the 5-inch next to it.
Right.
So yeah, it's a pretty tiny record. Another great thing about this record is it sounds like absolute crap.
Nice.
Allow me to demonstrate.
Just your kind of thing, huh, Johnny?
Oh. Is that the worst sounding record you've heard, or what?
Wow.
If I didn't love you, I'd hate you. Watching you playing the bar.
That's pretty awful.
That's pretty crappy sounding.
Here, I do got something I'm going to leave you with. If you can you focus on my camera here?
Sure. Let me.
Let's see if I can. I'm going to see if I can make this work. Okay, you're seeing a flat surface, right?
Yeah.
This is where the TV is, and this is a Tic Tac. Let's see if I can. There we go.
There it goes.
All right.
There,
Level.
There we go. Woohoo!
Perfectly level.
Yeah, perfectly level. So there you go.
Wow.
That's what I've learned.
Doesn't get much more level than that.
Just because the hotel's nice doesn't.
My older brother had this apartment where the dining room was tilted, and they had to push the dining room table back to the center of the room every couple of days.
Nice.
Wow.
Warhawk. My camera is just. I didn't even turn on. I didn't even get to turn on the GameCube at all this show, but that's okay because I couldn't get XP mode to work, which apparently this patch file that will fix an SD card to work with this possibly will only work on XP and not 7. Warhawk has now come up with a quote for this show. He quoted me as saying, "I'm not sure how many inches this is." Thank you, Warhawk. But
Yeah, I saw like
no.
Peter is holding up this cute 5-incher.
No, you know what though? But if I hold up 2 of them, it's 10 inches. But no, anyways, this has been another.
Warhawk's typing as we speak.
This has been the first fun-filled edition of Time Out with Gators, Brian, and Venison.
That's right.
And
And
so-
Dune. And Dune joined us.
kind of Dune to come visit us in our isolated timeout that he's sent us out to.
And we heard from Warhawk.
And we heard from Warhawk. So, but you know, the whole point of timeout is to learn something. And I've learned never shut up and own timeout. I've made it my own.
That's right. There you go.
I've embraced timeout.
You've
So,
embraced the time. I like that. I like that about you.
do you like it enough to keep following me on Twitter and stop blocking
Yeah,
everyone I retweet?
I think so. Well, you know what? Now you're asking too much. You can only get one or the other.
Does
So
he block
when
the
you-
gun?
when there's-
Shooting guns into the hurricane?
Oh.
I don't think it was the guns at the hurricane so much as my opinions on Trump that pissed off Dune.
That would be correct.
So anything you don't like on Twitter, rather than getting mad, just post a timeout picture. That's it.
Oh no, I mean,
You're on timeout!
I think what I think, you think what you think, and you know, we should just be okay
See,
with
it's
that.
better than all the insults. I mean, you know, racist, libtard, moron, snowflake, you know,
Well,
whatever,
I'm
whatever.
not saying it as a name. I'm saying it as I think is.
No.
but
As
I'm not getting into
opposed
it, though.
to calling a name because you express an opinion, that's just a timeout. No problem. Nobody gets mad. Just a timeout, right? I
Whatever.
like it. I like it.
So, what have you learned, Brian?
I learned sometimes you need to take a timeout.
That's right.
And we're going to do that every Monday from
Every
8 to 10
Monday.
p.m. Eastern.
It's
What
timeout
about you,
Wednesday.
Venison? What have you learned in your timeout?
I've learned, well, you know, I've learned how you ended up getting busted by everybody from downloading using these weirdo, download programs
That's a long time ago.
when you should have used, regular stuff that you wouldn't get caught.
That's what we
So-
had for
so-
regular stuff back then.
But there's a question I got for you, Venison. How did pizza
Yeah?
turn into Chinese food?
It's kind of, I don't know, kind of weird. I just thought of it and said, oh, well, I think I want Chinese. And so I got, 2 orders of fried shrimp, fried jumbo shrimp, 2 orders of the scallops, and the place improved. They had real scallops. I was like, oh, cool. And a quart of lo mein house special. And they had real
Oh.
meat in it. It was delicious. But it took until like 1 o'clock in the morning to finish it all. Ugh. And all that drinking didn't help.
Ah,
It never
It
does.
was fun, but it was fun.
So was
for
there
the
any
first
connection between the Chinese food feast and the puking that you tweeted quite a bit about?
bit.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was the first. That was the first, in decades that ever happened.
I blame it on the timeout. If you weren't stuck in that corner, maybe this would.
That's right.
All right. Anyways, thank you everyone for
Yeah.
listening, and be sure to
Oh, that
check
was
out
horrible.
all our great internet radio stuff on
I couldn't
nhbradio.com.
eat anything yesterday. I couldn't. Oh, damn.
Venison, have you looked up my brother, and me yet?
Nope.
No, you gotta see anyone could just record a show and put it there for people to download for free. These guys go around the country and get the same people to pay money to buy tickets to see them do the show live, which will then later be posted to be downloaded for free. Clearly, they're doing something right that we're not doing.
Oh, well.
Wow.
I tell you,
They
we need to
figured
take the
out
show on
phase
the road
three.
and sell out theaters. But I did go there with my Dune and Bob T-shirt on. Even though Dune put me in timeout, I still went out and plugged the Dune and Bob show with my shirt.
Very nice.
Yeah, sitting there right in the front of someone else's podcast show that they're doing a live show on the stage of, wearing a Dune and Bob shirt. Joe-
Can we see you on this
Look at these
podcast?
storms.
I don't think anyone noticed though.
Oh, damn.
But someone did hand me a card for his blog podcast thing that I totally gonna check out if I can find where oh, here it is. Push Your Glasses Up, comics and pop culture blog and podcast. So check out pushyourglassesup.com. I have no idea if it's entertaining or not. I have not listened to it at all, but I was behind this guy in the line waiting to go into the show. So there you go. He probably
Wow.
he probably gets more downloads than I do.
See, you need
Oh, yeah.
to go to the event and pass out your own business card.
Yeah, well, that would require me printing up business cards and having a show I'm proud enough of
Well,
to
you know,
pass out
Vistaprint
business.
puts up free business cards frequently.
Well, I gotta decide on the name. Am I sticking with the timeout or
Time
are
out,
we-
baby.
So it's unanimous. It's agreed
I'm
on.
totally with it. Yeah,
Dune likes it. You like it. I like it. Venison. You like timeout.
absolutely.
Yeah, I can go for it.
All right. We need to come up with a show
Sure.
logo now. I'll see what I can come up with on Photoshop this week.
Maybe
There
you
we-
need a
Oh, shit.
you need
Well,
like the drill sergeant, and you know, with that.
All right.
Yeah,
The
look.
Brian, maybe, yeah.
We need to get someone that can draw good caricatures to make a drill sergeant with a caricatured Dune face.
Ooh, a quick announcement here.
Okay.
Something kind of cool, you know, for those of you who are into the whole watching the Aurora thing. I think this might happen tomorrow night. The sun put out a huge fucking flare last night. Whoa!
Yes.
The satellite picture is still fuzzed out by this, being bombarded by this thing, and it is huge, and it's pointed right at us. So we're going to get slapped with this thing. So
Okay.
Auroras and all like that, but you should be able to see them pretty far south because it's going to be spectacular.
All right. We'll
Yeah,
be sure
well,
to check that out.
said Wednesday night we should get it.
Yeah,
All right.
and for all you
Although I
amateur
saw
radio
someone already
people,
posted some pictures of it.
and for all
So-
you amateur radio people, Aurora bounce will be supreme.
All right. Thank you for listening. Good night.
Yep.
Oh, the storms are fucking rages. Oh, Irma is like really breaking up here.
Do you follow